So earlier this month, we actually reached our 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. If you don't know who we are, we're Racer X Garage. Set the truck on fire? No, I sure don't. Yeah. Do you need a lighter?
Yeah.
Okay. We figured since we hit 1,000 subscribers, it's time to introduce the fleet to everybody. So if you're new to the channel, you'll get to see all the stuff that we're working on. So we're gonna get started here, and it's been a little bit of a job to get all these rides together, but we're super excited. We've never seen them together ourselves, so we'll get started here with the very first thing that's ever been on the channel, which is what's known as the Drag Week Dakota, or the Dakenstein, and let's go show you it right now. All right, so here is Dakenstein, or the Drag Week Dakota, or whatever you want to call it. But this is my actual high school truck that I've had for, geez, I don't even know how many years. But this is the very first vehicle that was on the channel. This is what the project that made me want to start the channel, and I'll give you a general overview. So this thing was wrecked, and for a while it sat in my mom's garage for about 15 years, and then I decided to pull it out because I had a 5.3, which is what this is, kind of sitting dormant, and I'm like, you know what, let's put that 5.3 in it, let's get the Dakota back on the road. So not only did I do that, I built this truck for endurance drag racing purposes. So this truck is built for Hot Rod Drag Week, Rocky Mountain Race Week, very similar events like that. If you don't know what they are, it's a road trip where you go to different drag strips along the way, and you have to drive this thing there. So that's what I built it for. It's got a stock 5.3 long block. It's got 799 heads, Brian Tooley Racing custom grind cam, speed engineering middling tethers on it. It's got a Hooker Blackheart exhaust system that I got out working for it, a good fuel pump, and one of the most recent things I did on this was custom install this radiator, and it's been pretty fast. It's been as fast as 12:43 1/4, but it's been even faster in the 1/8 mile than it used to be when it made that pass. So it's capable of high 11-second quarter miles and low 12-second quarter miles times, and it's a blast. And so we put a lot of time and energy into this thing, and it's what created the channel. So you're going to see a lot more of this coming up on Rocky Mountain Race Week. But Greg over here, working hard, also had a Dakota growing up, and he decided to join on the fun. So he bought this 93 Dakota here. We don't actually have a name for it. We kind of just came up with one recently, but we're not sure we like it yet, so we're not going to put that out there. But this is a 93 Dakota. It's got a 318 and an automatic transmission. It actually came that way, but if you'll see the inside, we've kind of been doing some work on this thing, and we've got some plans for it. So I'll give you guys a quick sneak peek of what's going to happen, and then to this truck pretty soon. It does run and drive, But this truck we're gonna build on a budget for fun and lots of tire smoke and burnouts and lemons racing maybe. But yeah, it's a cool little truck, but it kind of got put on the back burner since Greg found this jewel right here. This is Greg's 96 Dodge Dakota, and it is an absolute peach. We bought this from a guy in Dallas it was his grandfather's, and these bucket seats are actually out of the black truck that you just looked at, but this truck is almost damn near immaculate inside and out. We've got this stuff back here because we've got a car cover on it, and we didn't want the car cover to sag from rain, so this is just makeshift stuff. Don't pay attention to it, but we have plans for this truck. That Greg actually has a 4.8 liter Gen 3 motor, Gen 4 motor, GM motor, and it's going to be getting a 75-78 turbo, intercooler, flex fuel, almost a whole sloppy mechanics kind of style, don't BS me build, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But this one we're going to really take our time on. It won't necessarily be so budget, but we're still going to try to do it on the cheap, but we're going to do it really nice. We still want air conditioning, power steering, the whole 9 yards. But this is Gramps, and we named it that because of kind of the situation we bought it, and we love this thing. Right now it's got a very powerful, not really, 2.5 liter 4-cylinder and a 5-speed, so it's kind of just hanging out. So that's the Dakotas. Let's move on to the GMCs maybe. Like I said, on to the GMCs. This is Greg's dream truck, and so he bought it. This is a 93 GMC Typhoon 4.3 liter turbo, and if it looks a little funny, we're waiting on some parts. We had a little issue with our cladding that came off here, but Greg's waiting on that. But this is a true Typhoon, apple red on apple red. How many were built?
77
yeah, so there's only 77 ever built in this color. And the best thing about this truck is the interior, because it is dead perfect and clean. And if you go back looking on our channel, you'll see a couple episodes with this as we took it to, what was that, Autorama car show in 2019. We got it all cleaned up, and actually he took home 3rd place in that in his class I forgot the class, but he took home 3rd place, and it's all stock. There's nothing modified on this truck, and that's the way it's going to stay, because these things have a notorious reputation for not running well when you touch them. So this isn't getting anything special. It's going to stay as is, nice and clean. We're going to do some drives on it here. We're waiting on those parts to come back for the cladding.
Put it back on and take it to car shows.
Yep.
Clean it up. Put the original wheels back on.
Oh yeah, I'll show you guys that here in just a second. And also we're fixing the AC, because the AC is not working on it right now. So, and then it's got a little sister here. This is a joint project for me and Greg. This is a 92 Sonoma GT. So it's kind of like the little brother of the Typhoon and the GMC Cyclone, which has the same turbo engine, all-wheel drive, but the GMC Sonoma GT doesn't have the turbo, doesn't have the all-wheel drive, but it does have the same interior as a Cyclone, and I'll show you guys that. It's got the bucket seats with the red piping. The Sonoma GTs don't have anything in the headrest. I believe the Cyclones say Cyclone right here, but it's also got the center console with the shifter. So that stuff is unique to the Sonoma GT, and the interior in this truck is actually pretty nice. We have put a little bit of work into this truck. And they're all dirty. You're gonna have to forgive that. We couldn't get them here and washed for the video in time, but we actually put a 3/4 drop on this thing. So it's got DJM front lower control arms that drop the coil spring 3 inches, so it effectively keeps the same trajectory and everything on the suspension, and just drops where the coil spring seats. And then we've got some blocks in the back for now. So we have a lot of plans for this truck. We've got a few things to install actually already, so you're going to be seeing this especially coming up towards the end of summer, because this truck has AC. So we like to drive it, but we want to do some more handling things to it. And we've got a power plant swap idea coming soon, and I'm hoping we get to that next year. Now, Greg said something about the wheels. These wheels are actually the Typhoon wheels, and the only reason that they're on the Sonoma is because they're good. And the wheels that are for Sonoma have terrible tires on them, and because we're not driving this because we're waiting on this cladding, we swapped them. So we're actually going to fix that this evening or tomorrow, and I'm actually ordering tires for this, and that will be an upcoming episode pretty soon, for the upgrades for the Sonoma GT. So I really want to get that cladding back. We've been waiting a long time. There's a specific company that's really well known in this area, and they do great work, but man, they've had these things for too long, and we need them back. This truck has been down a long time waiting on those things to come back, and we're getting a little frustrated, but we understand that they're the best in the job for it, but it's getting a little ridiculous on time frame. Yeah, that's the GMCs.
They're really rare.
They're rare.
Cool.
Oh, also on the Sonoma GT, only 806 Sonoma GTs were ever built, and they were only built in 1992. So I forgot what number ours is.
638.
I think you're right. I think our number is 638. It's also apple red, same color as the Typhoon, but it has the gray cladding. So it's a really rare truck. It's a fun truck, and we really enjoy driving it. So that's, again, more trucks. So why don't we move on to our last truck, and then on to probably the cars you see behind me here. So. All right, this one here is a project that we call B-Split, and it's kind of self-explanatory why we call this thing B-Split, is we got the white in the middle and the yellow on top. But this is my 1970 C10. This has been the most recent project on the channel, and I bought it to just kind of have fun with it. I bought it sight unseen, and it had some kind of wonky fixes and stuff on it, and I've been fixing that as we go. It's had some terrible paint, but I've worked really hard on getting the paint to shine again. And just finished, which no one has seen yet, is the interior. We got the carpet all cleaned out, seats all cleaned up, door panels all cleaned up, new dash pad in, new steering wheel, which the button keeps falling off, so I'm not sure what's up with that. But this thing is really cleaned up, and I'm looking at it now, and I'm still really impressed with how clean it is. And we even got these visors clean, and I got a lot of the wiring working that wasn't working before, and it's a great truck. Now I'm going to show you, we also restored the engine on this thing, and I say restore, we kind of revived it. I didn't pull it out, but I went ahead and painted it, cleaned it all up, put a new intake manifold on it. The carburetor is not on it right now. The carburetor actually belongs to another car that we're going to show you here in a minute, so that's kind of why it's just bare. But with the movie magic, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so that's B-Split. Little known information, this is for sale. So if you guys are interested in it, hit us up on our Instagram or email info@racerxgarage.com, and we can talk about it. All right, we're getting to the last two in the backyard. We still got a couple more to show you, but let's show you the classics that we have here. So another vehicle that was on the channel very early on is this car right here, which is my 19 '68 Nova Super Sport. Now, there's a whole lot of like information when it comes to proving a car is a super sport and things like that. But we're pretty sure, 99% sure, this car's a real super sport. There's a really cool story behind it. I'll try to be real short with that. Me and my buddy went up to Austin to buy this car. When we bought it, it was kind of in drag form. So it had this big hood on it, these kind of older wheels. It was drag raced in the 80s, right? And then the owner parked it. Not sure why he parked it, but he parked it. So he passed away. His son then sold the car. This car had not ran since 1980, I believe. What's it say on the sticker? 1989 was the last time that this car had ran. So I got it running, and it actually has a Gen 1 LT1, which is a motor out of a 1970 Z28 or a Corvette. It's a real rare motor. It's a 11.5-to-1 compression from the factory, solid lift cam, and it goes that the owner pulled it out of his Camaro and put it in this, and we're not sure exactly as to why. But it's been an awesome car, and it runs good. Motor's a little tired, but it had been sitting for a long time, so that just kind of goes with the territory. The hood was actually not on the car when I bought it, but when we bought it, the previous owner's son said, hey, the hood's in the rafters of the place that it used to sit. So we called the people that owned that place, because he had sold that as well, and they were nice enough to say it's here, and if you guys can come today, you can buy it. So we bought it, and climbed up into the rafters, and pulled this hood down, and so it came with the car on the way back home. So it's a like I said, a Gen 1 LT1, and it's got a Victor Jr. intake on it, just some headers. I think it's still got the stock Duntov cam. You might see some messages on it because I've got to fix some things. I don't know if you guys can see this, but water pump's gone out on it, or it's going out. That bearing is gone. But it's a bucket seat car, factory bucket seats. This is the factory vinyl on it. It was originally a console car, but we were told that the console, something fell on the console when it was out and busted it all up. So right now I just got the 4-speed in it. It's got a Muncie 4-speed trans. So right now I just got the what do you call it, the rubber kit in it. Some more information on the dash. There's your SS logo. Dash is a little cracked up because it's original. It is a factory tack car, so it's got the tack there, clock over there, and it actually has the plug and all the brackets for the console down here. In fact, these gauges are running off of that plug. They're just plugged into the plug of the car with some spade terminals. But it's original grotto blue car. It does have a 12 bolt. It does have factory dual exhaust hangers, and we believe everything on this car to actually be original. Unfortunately, it has been repainted and not well, but everything's in its place and original to the car, and we love it. And it's not too slow. This car's ran the best of 1290 with this motor in it, and that's from an 80s build. So that's the Nova. It's one of the favorites on the channel. We get a lot of views from this car, and it's a lot of fun. All right, here's our last girl back out here. This is my 1963 Bel Air, as Greg calls it, the Fresh Prince. Yeah. Fresh Prince. This car is what gave me the motivation to start this channel, because I actually restored the engine bay And after I got done, I had the realization that, you know what, I maybe should have videoed that and put it on YouTube. I pulled the engine out, I painted the firewall myself, I painted everything in here myself, pulled the engine out, painted that. It needs some touch up. It's been a couple of years since I've done it, but this is a little 283. It came in the car when I bought it. Just got a good set of headers on it and good aluminum radiator. I put a camshaft in it. It's got a good carburetor on it. I've been sharing that carburetor with B-Split. That's why it's not on it right now, because I gotta buy a carburetor. But it's a 4-speed for the moment, and you can still see that I have an automatic column on there. It was an original 6-cylinder Power Glide car, and this thing is just a good looking cruiser, and that's all it's probably ever going to be. We are going to plan to put a different motor and transmission in it in the future. We're not exactly sure. We actually have a motor for it, but it needs some work. So until we know that's exactly what we're doing, I don't want to say that that's the direction we're going, but we are going to put a 5-speed or 6-speed trans in this car, because I think there's something wrong with the Muncie, or actually it's got a Super T10, and I think there's something wrong with it, but it still drives really well. Driving it over here again made me remember, God, I love to drive this car. One of the most recent videos in this car, I drove it to Galveston, and you can check that out on our channel. So as far as all the cars go, that's pretty much it. There's still one more thing back here that we'll go over with you, and I think a lot of people actually have come to the channel from this project. So let's go show you our boat project. This thing has made us incredibly happy over the years, and subsequently broke our heart really bad recently. But this is Greg's dad's, or Greg's, whatever you want to say, 1996 Wellcraft 1950S, and it's got a 4.3 liter Vortec motor in it, and we pulled it out of Greg's dad's backyard after it sat for what, 18 years, something like that.
18 years.
And we've pressure washed it. It's still a little grimy. We need to pressure wash it in probably, but it was kind of a disaster. I'll show you guys right here kind of what it looked like. But yeah, exactly, we kind of hit it with the wheel, started working on the gel coat, and you know, that's coming out really nice. And we put a boatload of hours into this thing to get it running, and we actually did get it running. However, if you haven't seen yet, the freeze in South Texas completely wiped out this motor. So here is the motor in the boat. You can see we've got it disassembled, and that line right there is a crack, and it's on both sides of the motor, and unfortunately it's toast. So once we found that out, we've kind of been taking a break from it. We still don't know quite what we're going to do with it. We kind of want to see if we can get it back up and running, right? But I mean, obviously we can't do it with this motor. So we are on the hunt for a Vortec based 4.3. We might even find one that's meant for a car or a truck and try to throw it in this thing. But this thing is, we got it running. It ran so damn good, and this was a very crushing discovery. But we're not completely done with this yet. We're still going over on options. It depends on what we find, and we want to get it back on the water if possible. I don't know this year, but maybe next year. But we'll give you guys an update on the boat whenever we make a good decision on it. But we're gonna keep looking for a motor and going from there. So other than that, we stripped all the panels out of it because they were no good, and the seats were no good, so that's been stripped out as well. So we've been working on the wiring and some things like that. So it's pretty bare in here. So we're learning on this one. We don't know much about boats, and we've actually learned a ton already. But a lot of people came to the channel after this project, so I appreciate you guys coming. We'll keep you informed and go from there. Now let's go check out our last two vehicles. So here's probably the coolest car in the fleet. Some people may argue that, but this thing is just absolutely gorgeous. This is Greg's 2012 Corvette Grand Sport. Comes stock with a LS3 and a 6-speed, and he's recently done some upgrades to it. He's got these beautiful Ford Star wheels. Which ones are these?
CF5Es.
CF5Es. And what are they in the back? They're what are they?
I got 19s all the way around.
Oh, that's right. He's got 19s all the way around. He's had some custom paint work done. So the roof has been painted black. The running guards here have been painted black. These stripes are actually painted on. They're not stickers. And these awesome Morimoto headlights. Air dam's also been painted. This car is just absolutely beautiful. So we haven't done a lot with the Corvette on the channel. We cruised it a little bit. Greg's done a little bit to it, other than he's done a lot to the exterior, but it's got a MGW shifter in it. It's got a switch for the exhaust in it, right?
Yeah.
Anything else? No, this car just works.
Stock.
It's all stock otherwise. There's no engine work done to it, because in all honesty, it doesn't need it. I know everybody wants a 1,000 horsepower car. This car, it's got plenty of power, as is stock. It's not a drag car, it's a Corvette, right? We've got plenty of that stuff out there, and this thing's just a beauty, not only to look at, but to drive. The way it sounds, just, it's awesome. Oh yeah, he's also got awesome, what do you call it, ceramic kit on it with, you know, make sure you don't get scratches in the front, the Expel in the front.
Track pack from the fender's hood forward.
I think that's the most we've actually talked about this car in the channel, because we always wind up wanting to video something and something happens and we're not able to do it. But I love this car. It's exactly what I want. If I want one, that's Carlisle blue. Maybe one day you'll also see that. Last but not least is my daily driver. This is my 2018 F-150. It's a 2018 F-150 Lariat Sport Special Edition. Yeah, I don't know. That's the way it goes. But it's pretty cool. It's got a graphics package as part of Special Edition, so you can see the decal on the side and the hood. It's kind of an uncommon package. It's got 20-inch black wheels, a blackout kit, so the grill's all blacked out, and even the emblems are blacked out. My favorite thing about it is the interior. Is you got the red trim, and I love the dash on this thing. It's just really cool. But it's got a Coyote motor in it, so it's the 5-liter. And they're supposed to run pretty quick, so I'm hoping before too long I'm gonna get this thing down to the quarter mile and run it past in it, because apparently they might run 13s as is, and I'd like to see if that's true. It is a flex fuel truck, but I don't have anything done to it. It's got low miles, and it's my tow vehicle, so I don't plan a lot on this until maybe the warranty's expired. But I do hear a good tune really picks these things up. This one has the electronic locker and all the towing cool stuff on it, but I just love the way it looks. I had a 2018 GMC before that was a cool truck, but had some transmission issues, and so I traded it in on this one that has the 10-speed transmission, and I couldn't be happier with this truck. I like my GMC, but this thing is everything I could possibly want it to be. Well, if you can hear me over the cicadas, that's the fleet. So as you can see, we've got a lot of stuff going on. There's all kinds of stuff to work on. Who knows what you'll see in the future. Some of these may go, and maybe new ones will come in. But as long as you stick around, you'll find that out. So we really want to appreciate everybody that has subscribed to the channel. We can't thank you enough. We just love doing this, and love sharing our little world with y'all, and little tips and tricks or adventures, you know. And pretty soon we've got Race Week 2.0 coming up, and it's going to be me and the Dakota going on, you know, 1,500-mile road trip and drag racing at the same time. I'll be doing that with a buddy named Keith, who's actually got a really cool car as well. And I can't wait to show you all that as we go through it. I'm going to do a video up on that here pretty soon to explain that whole thing. So, Race Week, maybe LS Fest, Drag Week, all that stuff's in the future. Plus, interesting motor swaps, turbos, boat action. We got a lot going on that we can show you guys. So if you like what's going on so far and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Please tell your friends if you like it, share it. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Racer X Garage. Check out our website, racerxgarage.com. I don't think I can plug anything else, so thanks for coming along and checking out all the projects and seeing what's in store. You know the deal. Until next time, y'all be good.